Welcome to the graffiti jungle. Paolo Pulingue. Benvenuti nella giungla dei graffiti. Questo è Impastore Rockstar, il podcast di Gihareh. Sono il tuo capo. Io sono Chief Gihareh. Alright. So, for the last few days, been watching American Gangster. And I was doing 25-minute segments, but for some reason, just now, I'm like, all right, yo, I gotta, like, there's some stuff I just kind of want to talk about, or like these last, so I just watched from minute 115 to not a minute 115, an hour and 15, which is basically 75 minutes, to almost basically an hour 30. It was like an hour and 29 minutes, basically an hour and 90 minutes. So from 75 minutes to 90 to hour 30. From 75 minutes to 90 minutes, basically, all right? From an hour and 15 to an hour and 30, just about. Okay. Okay, so it's not like, I don't even know, let me try and say like, of a lot happening or anything. So, okay. The last time we left off at around the 75-minute mark, he had just met the one girl, the Puerto Rican, you know what I'm saying? The John, she was on some, what's that shit called? He was like, yo, she a beauty queen, pageant queen, whatever. He was like, that's Miss Puerto Rico, whatever type shit, right? So, next few scenes, and then the cop lawyer, what does he do? So one thing about the cop lawyer, he's I guess going through divorce separation with his wife or something like that. So it's just a nice little scene here. The lady knocks on his door, another lady comes down in her uniform or whatever, fixes the whatchamacallit, gives him a kiss, and then leaves. It's nice, you know what I'm saying? And the lady, she's like, we have an appointment. He's like, what's the appointment for? And she was like, child services. So he's like, okay. Next scene, it then goes to Frank takes Ava. Frank is Denzel Washington, and the Puerto Rican John is Ava. He takes her to the house that he bought his mom. And, she's like, well, who is this person? And, that's his old former boss that passed away in the beginning of the movie. He's like, that's Martin Luther King. But he tells me, like, well, what did you teach? He told me a lot of things that I wrong. Taught me patience, how to be a gentleman. Is that what you are, a gentleman? I try to be. So it goes from there. And then he makes another purchase. All right, he makes another purchase. Now, the thing about Frank is the fact that he is selling a product at a lower price, better quality. He's better quality, lower price. It's stepping on a lot of people's toes on either sides here. Like, so so a lot of people are trying to figure out who is doing this. How are they even able to do this, right? So that's one thing I want to kind of like delve into, but I'm trying to remember like what just happened within these 15 minutes. So the other thing that happened was Frank is hosting like this little get together or whatever. Now so there are two scenes in the movie that I saw prior to like ever watching this movie. And one of them already passed, and the other one was the $25,000 alpaca. Now the $25,000 alpaca. So that's the one scene. So there's this girl, and she was like, if you, so I posted her. You gotta look at the mashed potatoes video. That's her, right? So she has like this different side of like she has this like social media like persona or whatever. And you don't know, like with somebody like that, you don't really know, like, yeah, potentially maybe they really could be like just unhinged in real life. But she, at the same time, if you look at her, you can kind of tell like she's taller, and just like the way her body shape is and this and that, you can probably tell like why there are maybe some things that she maybe had to overcome or whatever. Any all that. It just that's aside. She, I remember I went to her page, and this is like one of my little motivations or whatever. Like with the movie reenactments, she did the $25,000 alpaca scene, and so that scene happens just now, and so that scene happens around between the 1:15 and the one, not the one, yeah, the hour and 15 and the hour and 30 mark. It happens in between there, right? So he's hosting this party, and dude in the back, yeah, this and that, third room, boom. The other dude, he said, what y'all got going? I'm not sure where he really is, this and that, third, but he flicks some type of badge. I'm arresting y'all, this and the third. He joking. You know how people be at the little parties and the functions, and they be saying too much, doing too much. So he goes along that path. So he comes over there and, oh yeah, there's some good shit, and this and the third, and then they going back and forth. But you know, like there's banter. So they're like he goes back and forth on some, oh, you ain't gotta arrest us for this. I can get you a nice price for this, and this and the third. I'm like, oh, this some good shit. Like they're going back and forth like that, right, or whatever. But they're getting a little loud. And now, mind you, the second dude that came up, with the flashing the badge and, oh, this some good shit, and then I arrest y'all and take y'all down, this and that, like the banter and all that, like joking and shit. Like he groping on the other shorty, and she just, she going along with the vibe and the feel. I'm like, I ain't mad at her. It's all a good time here, right? Then what happens? This is the so I'm you know how like it be that it's a thin line, and then all of a sudden it goes the other way, right? So that's what ends up happening. So then they get into this argument. Now it's just a quick exchange, just back and forth, pew, in his leg. So the one that had came over and started talking all this rah and joking and filling up on the girl and this and the third, he's the one that gets pew in the leg, right? And so instantly now that like it's a gathering here, you know what I'm saying? So of course Frank now is like, so Frank goes over the dude that shot the gun. Frank says, boom, get up. Grabs him, puts him in the motherfucking piano, and starts smashing his head in the piano. And then he looked at everybody, get the fuck out. Everybody get out. So he tell everybody, get out, get the fuck out. This is after boom, 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 right? So then this leads to the $25,000 packaging. So in the $25,000 packaging, now he's like, it was an accident. Wasn't no goddamn motherfucking accident. He coked up all the motherfucking time. That's why he don't feel shit, right? So from there, I'm thank y'all for your participation, engagement, focus on the movie. Let's all talk about the movie here. We're watching American Gangster. Just keep the conversation focused. Can't be distracted. Lock the fuck in, bro. So then he said he don't feel shit. That's why he coked up all the motherfucking time. Then he's like, he's your driver. Get rid of him. He said, hey, man, that's your cousin. I don't mean a goddamn shit. He don't mean shit to me, right? He don't mean shit. Where you want him to go? I don't give a damn. I don't care where he go. He's your, you know what I'm saying? You deal with it. So then he turns around, and mind you, because of that blood that's on the floor now, the blood stain, he like, He's like, what did he say? Oh, he said, hey, that's alpaca. That's 25. No, 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 no. He said, hey. You don't rub that shit. You block that shit. That's alpaca. You understand? That's $25,000 alpaca. You don't rub that shit. You block that shit. Put a motherfucking club soda up there. And he said, damn it. Nobody talked to me. Nobody talked to me directly. If you got business with me, you talk to Huey. Huey, you talk to me. You understand? Okay. Never on the phone, damn it. Take them motherfucking shades off. So she did that scene, right? But she's funny. She's funny. So, like, this is why I say, like, there's different levels to how people approach the acting and whatnot and the recreating movie scenes. So, she daggone. And it's like, it's okay, but like, I feel like, there's levels and there's spaces for how the shit be going. So she does it in a sense of she changes like her glasses, the outfit, whatever, but she be in her room or something like, or she be in a room or whatever. Like, so she might be in this corner for this person's lines, this corner and this for this person's lines, this corner, like she like, it's just, she be in the house, in the same place for the movies or whatever. So, and it's just, she put some shades on, she puts different glasses, put a little wig on to be each of the different characters, but that's it, right? So that was one of my, that was like, she has this like viral post, kind of sort of viral, however you depend on it, but I thought it was funny watching her, but then I'm like, well, okay, what movie is this though? You can tell like it's a voiceover, and not voiceover. She's just doing overlays over top of the original movie, like the audio is in the background, and she's just doing the like she's just reenacting it type shit. So that's one of them shit. I had to go to the comments to figure out what movie it was. So that was my first time even knowing about this movie, and so I was like, okay, well, what's the original scene? And so I went to go looking for the original scene, and then that's when I did the reenactment for that scene. But when you trying to do the reenactment and whatnot, I was like, yo, I had to write down the words. I wrote down the words, and so this is me. I'm in the forest with my cow jacket on, trying to recreate this scene. So that was the first. That's one of the first. That was the first scene I ever seen from this movie. The next scene that I had seen from the movie, I think we already talked about it, but I think that was the one. You gonna get me right here in front of everybody? That was the one that came up in the cigar shop, right here in front of everybody, just like that. So that was another one. So now after this, there shouldn't be any more scenes that I have seen before watching the movie. Okay. Well, now, a couple of things I wanted to talk about from these next few whatchamacallit. So, like you sitting there watching and you thinking about certain shit. So, you know how, for instance, I guess, I'm not sure if it's the time and day and age or just in the scene or the character does require this or whatever, right? So, it moves to, okay, with the cop. There is one scene with the cop and he's like bench pressing. You know what I'm saying? But it just reminded me in this one scene coming up. So with the whole child protective services that had to come to his house, he goes to see an old friend, and his old friend is like hosting this little pool party for kids or whatever. And he, they go back inside to talk, and then I think it does something like that, right? It does something like, well, he's telling him like, well, I don't know who this guy is, but he's the godfather to his son, and he's trying to figure out, okay, what's going on, and he's like, well, I think they're officially whatchamacallit. So I think like his ex-wife or whatever, or yeah, his ex-wife is going to meet him in court, and because she's talking to the people and she's mentioning certain names. So he was like, and she mentions your name, and so he's basically kind of he is a cop now, but he's basically kind of saying like, okay, if anybody does come to talk to you about, you don't got, he's like, okay, I'm gonna lie. He's like, no, you don't gotta lie, but just, you don't have to say certain things. You can omit, certain facts and this and the third, boom, boom. So there's something sketchy in the past about this cop lawyer, whatever. I'm not sure what it really is, but he's really upstanding and he really follows the laws and the rules now. He turned in $1 million. So, but that wasn't the point. The point I was about to try to make was, in this kind of scene, like, it kind of just reminded me though, like, he is not like, okay, you see him working out, but when he's working out, it ain't no he got 45s and this and third. He got regular basic shit up there. So it's that. So it's the fact that, like, the point I'm trying to make is, it took a long time to get to that point, but the point I'm trying to make was, so for instance, what's the Wakanda movie? Black Panther. Is that Black Panther? I think so. Yeah, the Wakanda movie. And you got, or like Creed. So like Michael B. Jordan would sit there and work out so he would get in shape for the character. But it's just, I guess it maybe like kind of adds to like like, there are just certain parts of the movie that kind of like adds to the authenticity of it, kind of sort of maybe, where it's like they're not that in shape. You know what I'm saying? Or certain things may not be that appealing. And whether it's a certain, like, if it's this woman's body or this and the third, like, and so like that is just different from like nowadays, where everything is like, is going to be up to that, whatchamacallit. Like, outside of the other themes and pictorials that are portrayed in this movie, there is this like rawness and authenticity of, I'll just say, unattractiveness in it. And so like that is just like, that's an interesting thing that that for me, I just kind of like noticed and picked up. I'm like, yo, he's not in shape. Or this woman's body is like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but it's showing all of that, you know what I'm saying? And there is no shying away from this or that. So that's cool. Or just something I noticed. The other thing I wanted to talk about was, okay, it's just, even from a certain standpoint mentality, like, and this is something that I, like, when it comes to certain people, or just like, it's like, how do I say this? It's just certain people I just don't think have the mentality to even like run a business. Just if I'm just trying to be even straightforward, it's like, it's just like, when it comes down like to mentality, there, like, a lot of people just don't even have the mentality to own a business. Like, and so the reason I say that is because they'll fault a person, like the entrepreneurial mindset, the whatever. A lot of people, they will, they don't have the mentality. They don't have an entrepreneurial mindset. They don't have the skill set. They don't have the discipline, the endurance, the willpower. There's a lot, right? But they'll critique somebody who does. And I don't like that. I don't appreciate that when people who have not delved into a certain realm or space, you know what I'm saying, critique and have their opinions about this and the third. And not only that, there's just another part about that. So, or like the people who gave up. It's like, bitch, you gave up. So don't, like that right there. And like, you may have gotten further than some other, like, you didn't, but bitch, you still gave up. So I don't want to hear your opinion or thought process on like somebody who's running a business or who's still in this entrepreneurial state. So that'd be another thing, right? Now, in this realm, in this space, like, and however you want to sit there and talk about it, or there's another third, because this is the other part that comes up. So, I'm, and that's is, I guess it's tricky, kind of, sort of. You're trying to tiptoe around. You know what I'm saying, stepping on eggshells and shit. But within the business that Frank runs, right? He makes another purchase, and so the scene literally goes. He makes a call to another country. From that country, you see Fort Bragg, I think, North Carolina. You see whatever city, New Jersey. You see whatever city, New York. Like, he makes a he so like that like this is the mentality, this is the thought process, like, of however you want to sit down and slice in this and the third, like, that I admire. Like, I don't care, like, what the setting is or this and the third or what it is that's boom, boom, boom. There is this, the management in that is super tricky. You know what I'm saying? The management in, now, I'm not gonna say tricky, but it's just the fact that he makes an international call. And then things have to get, transported from here to here. And from there, it's this city and this state, it's this city and this state, and it's this city and this state, and there's so many places. And then you're seeing, like, that's why they're like, I get, for lack of a better word, there's a level of coolness to, like, how these transactions are even happening. And it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Boom. Like, even if it comes down to, like, the what to say in a situation to inspire this transaction, what to say in this situation to inspire this transaction, so you know who this customer is, what they're coming for, all of that shit. Like, and having all of that on rap, like, you know what I'm saying? That is, and so boom, like, all of that, bro. So, like, that is, like, grand scheme business, boom, like, that's, of doing things legitimately or illegitimately. However, that is the thing that I admire. You know what I'm saying? That's the one thing that I admire. International call. You know what I'm saying? Things getting imported, exported. Customers here, there. This word means to get this. This word means to get this. This is just normal conversation, but this said in this way, boom, leads to this type of transaction. And everything is good and everything is cool. And we moving so much, and it's so much money involved, right? And the thing about this is, because the other part that happens within this 15 minutes is the guy. So, oh, this is what okay, these are the actual whatchamacallits. So, let's start. Let me see. Okay, this is that scene. And now, this is where I kind of want to talk about fashion, or a little bit. Like, there's certain realms and spaces that you just don't understand or you don't really know about, right? So, I don't know what he's wearing, but for whatever he's wearing, you see that Denzel has something similar. And what are they doing? He's like, pull. And you see he has a rifle. And they're like, there used to be this game that you could play on TV, and like the duck would come up, like maybe call it a duck hunt or something like that. But I think a duck or a goose or whatever, he's like, pull. And then like the bird just comes and you gotta like get it. You know what I'm saying? And so like this, and I don't know how people like interpret or look at certain things. So a piece of this is like a piece of like, there's multiple things here. So fashion, right? If we just delve into like a fashion, whatchamacallit, like there is people who do certain activities and things, and like, so like, I don't know what that little activity is called, but it's probably, you do have to probably dress like this. You see what I'm saying? But that's like me not being, I am not affluent enough to be in that space to really know. And the reason I sit there and say that is because I've sat beside a person and I'm like, who sold horses? And I'm like, who's out here buying horses? But me asking this question lets this person know, like, he has to answer, he has to talk to me in certain ways so that I can understand, like, he's like, yeah, there are certain people who do buy horses, you know what I'm saying? There is a market for it. You may not be tapped into it yet, you know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm talking about. Like, but this is the stuff that I pick up on, that I look at, and it's like, I appreciate. So that's like on a fashion sense, right? Like, I don't know what the activity is, but it's probably of people who got money. You know what I'm saying? It's like, these are rich people shit. The other part about this is, if you put yourself in this setting, this person has a rifle. and you're having a conversation with them. Like that's not a scary setting for other people that's on the third. But if you was to put yourself in a situation, it's like, yeah, this person is crazy. They can just turn around and look at me and like that's it. You see what I'm saying? And even the people who are around, that doesn't make me feel safe because they know him, they don't know me. It be stuff like that. Like that's the stuff I'm looking at. And the other part, now I may not be right. I may not be sure about what two types of dogs, but you know me, when I talk about getting dogs and you know what I'm saying in the future, I think that may be a Doberman, and I think that may be a Cane Corso. I think. Now this is the shit. That's the shit I fuck with. This is the shit I fuck with. And I think he even said something about the whole house being imported, brick by brick, from wherever. It be shit like that. It's just rich shit. That's just rich shit, bro. So these last little 15 minutes, bro. Them last 15 minutes was worth talking about, bro. I think the one on the right, I think that's the Cane Corso, and I think that's the Doberman, and I think that's based off of the ears and whatnot. But this is rich shit, and like like there's so many parts of the movie that I fuck with, but it's the stuff. Oh, so even when Shorty, he brought Shorty over there. He says to Shorty like, yeah, I got 5 apartments and this and the third all across New York. I got these many properties across the East Coast, but I brought you here so you can meet my mother. Yeah, like that's what also happened in this whatchamacallit before they even got to this little part. So I love the conversation. I love the yeah, bro. Like, so in this conversation, what they're talking about, and this is another one of those you always see, and it always happens, and this is why in Paid in Full, you know what I'm saying? This is why in Paid in Full, he knew. He was like, everything good, everything cool, and we ain't got to do all this. So with this conversation here, you see what's in his hand, you know? But he asks him, he says, what do you think about monopolies? The game or yeah, not like American capitalism, you know what I'm saying? And he talking to him about, he's like, you know, there's like, if you got the dairy farmers out here selling milk, you know, at some point you got to say like, okay, it's put it at this price and it's fair. You know what I'm saying? Especially with all the competitors and whatnot. Like you can't have it at a certain price so that it's just not, you know what I'm saying? Boom. And Denzel looks back at him and says, I put it at a price that I think is fair. You know what I'm saying? He's like, well, what do you think about the dairy farmers? He said, uh, I think about them as much as they thought about me. He said, the dairy farmers? His competition. And like, this is how they're talking, right? They're talking in this, but is like, this is a level you understand what I'm saying. Yeah, and I do understand what you're saying. He's like, so what do you think about, you know what I'm saying, when you pricing your stuff at this point and you having this monopoly over, you know what I'm saying, with your competitors and whatnot, you stepping on toes. I think about my competitors as much as my competitors think about me. What are we talking about here? So then he mentions distribution. And he's like, you know, I'm good, but he's like, what if you could sell your stuff at whole price? And he's like, you know, he's like, I'm good from 1/10th to 1/55th, like from river to river. I'm good in New York. He said, I'm talking about, you know, this city, this state, this city, this state, this city, this state, and you know, giving you this insurance and this guarantee, like, but you know, when he leaves whatchamacallit, right? Ava is on some. She was like, why are we here? Why are we talking to these people? You see how they look at you and how they look at us? Like, this and the third. He was like, he even like, I think he gives them a cigar, and I think he like throws a cigar out. And you know, he's been puffing cigars the whole movie. And he like throws a cigar on the ground as he's getting into the car. And right in front of the face, you know what I'm saying? He throws a cigar and he's like, they work for me. Yeah. He was like, they work for me. So there was for me, that's why I had to stop watching for a little bit. I had to unpack that 15 minutes of that movie. Yeah, just that 15 minutes. That was enough for me to, because if it would have kept going, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna talk about this, I'm gonna talk about this, I'm gonna talk about this, bro. It was a lot. It was a lot. I'm good enough on a bad day. If I'm good enough on a bad day, don't make it a bad day, make it a good day. Let's talk. Yeah, so I fuck with it. I fuck with it, bro. Oh yeah. These are my thoughts, opinions, and comments. You let me